Bad job.
Okay. I'll open our meeting. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Monday commission meeting. Generally, our meetings are on Wednesdays, but we're not going to be here, so we've scheduled it on Monday so we can get our business taken care of. I'll open our meeting with public comment on any subject that's not on the agenda that is within the commissioner's jurisdiction. Is there any public comment?
I have something, Mr. Chairman. The Forest Service sent an update to a group that I'm involved in, Bedrock. The Forest Service will upgrade fish passageways along Cabin Gulch Road. While this work occurs, a 1 mile stretch of the road will close between June 10th and June 28th.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, one thing before, I'll mention to everybody that I did attend the passenger rail conference over in Missoula last week, and it was a very good conference. So it's still very much alive, and there's a lot of momentum in restoring the passenger rail service to southern part of Montana. So if there's anyone out there that's interested in being a part of that, please get a hold of me, and I can let you know where we're at, and I could really use the assistance. So anyway. Yes, that's it. So if there's no other public comment, we'll move on to our first agenda item. TJ Gravely, Broadwater County Public Works, water usage and grading agreement between Broadwater County and City of Townsend. TJ.
Good morning, Commissioners. TJ Gravely, Public Works Director. So in front of you today, you have basically an MOU with the City of Townsend to get water at the road shop in exchange for grading, so there would be no money changing hands. In the past, the county used to get water there for years, and then in the last couple of years, I believe it is, there was a shortage of water according to the city, which I'm not doubting. They asked us not to use a hydrant, and if they did, they wanted us to have it metered, which I'm fine with. So basically in front of you is the letter stating what the exchange is for with grading. The roads that would be graded would be South Harrison and Railroad Avenue on the other side of the railroad tracks. It's roughly a mile, I think, just maybe give or take just a little bit. If you'd like, I could read this in, and you guys could have a discussion, decision, table.
Yeah, just go ahead and read it into the record, will you, please?
Okay. Water usage and grading agreement. This water usage and grading agreement is in effect from June 4th, 2024 among Broadwater County, Montana and the City of Townsend, Montana. The background: the county has previously used city water for county road maintenance purposes without formal written agreement with or consideration to the city. Rather than commencing charges for such water usage, the city and county desire to enter into an agreement whereby the county will provide to the city certain road maintenance services as consideration for the city, temporarily permitting the county to continue using city water on a meter basis for the county road maintenance. The county and city intending to do legally bonded agree to as follows. Terms of the agreement. The agreement is effective from the effective date through December 31st, 2024. Water usage. The city shall allow the county road maintenance crew to access water system via the hydrant at North Cedar. The county's water usage will be metered and readings made available to the city. Grading. The county shall grade Railroad Avenue and Harrison Avenue twice before expiration of this contract. Choice of law. This agreement was governed by and shall be interpreted in accordance with the laws of the state of Montana. Venue. Any disputes arising under this agreement shall be resolved in the First Judicial District Court, Broadwater County, in the state of Montana. Servability. Should any one part or section of this agreement be determined by the court of law to be invalid, only such sections shall be affected, and the remainder of this agreement shall remain valid and enforceable. The entire agreement. This agreement constitutes the entire agreement along with parties hereto, and any amendment or modification to this agreement shall not be effective unless approved in writing by all parties in this agreement. Execution and delivery of copies. After the affirmative vote to adopt this agreement at the properly noticed meeting and governing bodies of the county and the city, the subsequent execution of this by their appropriate and authorized officials, copies of this agreement shall be filed in those offices of the city, the county clerk and recorders and the city clerk. All parties execute this agreement as of the effective date.
Okay, thanks. So I know that we had a couple of meetings. We met with the mayor and with Eric. Kay was included in those meetings, and as well as Peter Simon from the city. So
Correct.
I think we all kind of collaborated to come up with this agreement. And Kay, you're still good with it?
Chairman Fulford, Kaylin Minor, Deputy County Attorney. Yes, if the commission wishes to move forward, I don't have any legal issues with this. I do wish some additional language about covering attorney's fees would have been included in there. No, I didn't get the right background information about what they intend to do after the expiration on December 31st.
Right.
I think I might have missed that one conversation though,
I
sir.
think, yeah.
And those are my two concerns. But otherwise, it just is us working with our counterparts, and I believe that that's what everybody wishes to do.
Okay, sounds good. And then, as mentioned in here, the meter readings will be taken, and we'll keep track of it and see if it's an equitable exchange for what we're doing. And
Correct.
I guess if it is, we'll consider doing that again next year.
Correct. So originally I had some figures that I figured, rough estimate, as far as how much water we would use roughly.
Right.
And that was as every day using it for a 6-month period, I think is how I kind of put it. But at the road shop, that wouldn't happen every day, so my numbers are going to be higher than what I'm anticipating. So.
Okay. All right. I guess too, just to be clear that there's no funds exchanging hands. It's just a exchange of services is
Yep.
all it is.
No money changing hands at all.
Okay.
Eric and I will kind of collaborate to, as far as when the roads need to be graded. Right now, they definitely need to be graded. I actually drove them this morning.
Okay.
So they do need to be graded. And I would make a suggestion that we do it right again before freeze up.
Sure.
In the event of an emergency, say there's a flood or something like that.
Sure.
I do believe that the county and the city can work together. If, say, the road was destroyed, we could come up with some sort of a common ground to fix it up.
All right. Sounds good. Any comments or questions, you guys?
So this is just for a year at the end of this term, or this agreement will
Yeah, this is a
evaluate.
one-year contract to December 31st of 2024, which is longer than what the
That was
water
my-
season would be for us. When we get into next year, as you guys know, the city fees are going up. I would make a guess that this would not be an exchange for like work. I think that it would probably be a system where we would have to evaluate if it was worth us spending that kind of money, or if it would be worth us drilling our own well and putting it at the road shop and moving from there.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, the proposed water fees will go up in July and again in September this year. As far
Yeah,
as for
that I
residential.
wouldn't be able to speak to. Eric can
Right.
speak to that, but I do know they're going up.
Yeah. in July and September, I believe. I have another question, sort of related to this. Do we currently have a snowplow agreement with the city?
There is a snowplow agreement, but it's 18 inches.
That's what I thought.
And if that happens in Townsend, we got bigger issues. So there is an MOU. I believe that was probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, at least. It was before I was in this position.
Thank you.
I'm assuming the effective date is today.
Effective date, it said June 4th, 2024 on the very top line.
I see, okay.
Those are all my
Yeah.
questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. I have no other further questions. Is there a motion?
I will move to approve the water usage and grading agreement between Broadwater County and the City of Townsend, effective June 4th, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the water usage and grading agreement between Broadwater County and the City of Townsend, effective June 4th, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Once Angie signs that, I'll
Yeah.
make a copy and take back down to the city. It will be, there will be a meter put on it. I don't know if you put that on, if Eric put that meter on this morning or not.
Okay.
But the county won't take any water out of there until that is set up.
All right, good. We do have a lot of other water resources, right?
We have a lot of water resources. We do.
Right, this is just really somewhat convenient for us to,
This is really convenient for Indian Creek, Springville, these close roads.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Okay.
it's nice to have water first thing in the morning
Yep.
from the shop. So.
all right, very good. Anything else? No?
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Eric.
Thanks.
Next on our agenda, Nicole Brown, Community Development Director, Mosted Family Transfer Exemption Request. Section 5, Township 6, North, Range 2 East.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director, here today to present to you the Mostad Family Transfer Exemption Request. You should have before you a copy of the Certificate of Survey, the staff report, and the affidavit with supporting documents.
Okay.
I did inform the commission prior to the commencement of this meeting that the surveyor is unable to attend this meeting, but is watching remotely, is available via phone. And
Who is?
will, the surveyor, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, okay.
Schaber Surveying,
Thank
Mr.
you.
and Mrs. Svensson. But Mr. and Mrs. Mostad are here on behalf of their son Josh Mostad, who is a teacher and unable to attend this meeting in person also. So, should you have questions after I complete reading my staff report, Mr. and Mrs. Mostad are here and will attempt to answer those questions for you.
Okay.
So, with that, I have a fairly brief 3-page staff report that I would like to read into the record.
Okay.
This is a staff report for a family transfer of Joshua Mostad. This is to the Broadwater County Commissioners from myself. The date of completion of this report was May 31st, 2024. The deadline for the Commissioners to make a decision on this exemption request is June 25th, 2024. The applicant is Joshua Mostad of Mostad Drive in Townsend, Montana. The subject property is 20.25 acres in size with direct access from Mostad Drive, which is not a county road. The parcel is currently owned by Joshua Mostad, whom is requesting to utilize the family transfer exemption to gift a 15.24 acre parcel identified as Tract C to his mother, Deneen Mostad. Family transfer statutes. Montana Code Annotated 763207-1B provides that divisions made outside of a platted subdivision for the purpose of a single gift or sale in each county to each member of the landowner's immediate family may occur as an exemption from the Subdivision and Plating Act, Montana Code Annotated 764103, provides sanitation exemptions for parcels greater than 20 acres in size, exclusive of public roadways, are not subject to Department of Environmental Quality or DEQ review. However, since these two parcels will become less than 20 acres in size, they are both subject to DEQ review and approval. The owner of the parcel is requesting approval of the use of the family transfer exemption. The property is located off of Mostad Drive in Section 5, Township 6 North, Range 2 East in Broadwater County, Montana. The property is currently mostly irrigated agricultural land with one home site located on current Tract C. The parcel to be transferred to Joshua Mostad's mother, Deneen Mostad. Adjacent land use to the north is residential and agricultural. To the east and south and west are agricultural. Project uses regarding wastewater. Both parcels will be subject to review and approval from the Department of Environmental Quality, DEQ, under the Sanitation and Subdivisions Act, Title 76, Chapter 4, Part 1, MCA. The existing home site on Tract C has an approved on-site wastewater treatment system that was approved by the Broadwater County Environmental Health Office, since the parcel is currently greater than 20 acres in size. If the exemption request is granted approval by the Commission, both parcels will then be subject to DEQ approval, even though a new system is not being proposed for Tract C. Since there is no DEQ exemption cited on the proposed COS, the owner will be required to obtain DEQ approval prior to recordation of this plat. Access. The property is located directly south of Mostad Drive and slightly east of U.S. Highway 287. Mostad Drive is not a county road, therefore no county road approach permits are or will be required. Water. There is an existing exempt well on Tract C. The provision of water for any future development will be subject to review and approval by the Department of Natural Resources and Conservation, DNRC, utilizing the exempt well requirements for a residential structure. The provision of water may have negative impacts on the neighboring properties for future development. Water wells will be required to meet the separation requirements of the Broadwater County on-site wastewater treatment regulations. An irrigation ditch runs along the entire north-northwest boundary of the parcel. Appropriate setbacks will need to be adhered to. Public health and safety. The proposed division has the potential to have adverse impacts on public health and safety as follows. Number 1, no fire protection is located in the vicinity of the subject property. The nearest fire protection system is located in the town site of Townsend. Number 2, the irrigation ditch that borders the property to the north and northeast. I'm sorry, now I realize I had an error underwater. Sorry. Let me start that one over. Number 2, the irrigation ditch that borders the property to the north and northeast could pose a hazard to animals and small children not under appropriate supervision. Number 3, increased traffic on U.S. Highway 287 could pose a hazard exiting Mostad Drive, as the highway speed limit at that location is 45 miles per hour. Number 4, there is no requirement that the 60-foot wide public access easement be constructed to any road standard and could pose a travel risk if not constructed appropriately. Number 5, there is no requirement to construct a bridge or culvert crossing across the irrigation ditch. Number 6, since there is no review by the Townsend schools, there is no consideration for a school bus turnaround, which could pose a safety hazard for any future students. Number 7, there is no requirement for a noxious weed management plan, so landowners will need to be aware of any noxious weeds on their property. That should end there. Excuse me. All right, conclusion. Pursuant to 76.32071 MCA, which states, unless the method of disposition is adopted for the purpose of evading this chapter, the following divisions or aggregations of tracts of record of any size, regardless of the resulting size of any lot created by the division or aggregation, are not subdivisions under this chapter, but are subject to the surveying requirements of 76.3.401 for divisions or aggregations of land other than subdivision, and are subject to applicable zoning regulations adopted under Title 76, Chapter 2, Subitem B, divisions made outside of platted subdivisions for the purpose of a single gift or sale in each county to each member of the landowner's immediate family. This family transfer request is not considered a subdivision, but the Commissioners must make the determination of whether or not this particular family transfer exemption request is an evasion of the Montana Subdivision and Plating Act. On July 15, 2020, Scott and Deneen Mostad gifted Tract B, a 20.25 acre parcel, to their son Joshua Mostad. Joshua Mostad is now requesting to utilize the family transfer exemption to gift a portion of the same parcel, original Tract B, back to his mother, Deneen Mostad. This newly gifted parcel shall be known as Tract C, a 15.24 acre parcel with a home. Joshua Mostad will retain ownership of Tract B, which will be minimized to a 5.01 acre parcel. There is no MCA that prohibits the regifting of a gifted parcel, only that each person can gift to a member of their immediate family once per county. According to the applicant's affidavit, the reason for proposing this division of land is due to the unexpected property tax increases. However, since the property is over 20 acres in size, it is taxed at non-qualified ag rates. If the property is divided and both parcels become less than 20 acres in size, they both will be taxed at tract land rates, which is a much higher tax rate. Access to these parcels is via an easement across lands currently owned by Scott and Deneen Mostad and an irrigation ditch. Upon the recording of this COS, the existing 30-foot wide private access easement is to be abandoned and subsequently replaced with a 60-foot wide public access easement in a different location. This 60-foot easement will not be required to be built to a county subdivision road standard, since this is not a subdivision, but the easement will need to be given a unique road name if more than one address is to be requested. There is not currently a ditch crossing in the location of the newly created 60-foot easement. The Mostads will be required to work with the appropriate irrigation ditch authority to obtain permission for the installation of a culvert or a bridge for the purpose of crossing the ditch. And that concludes my report.
Okay, so Nicole, help me make sure I'm right. So I'm looking at the new COS, amended Tract A. Is that where the current access is now that goes through the middle of Tract A? Starts down in the lower left corner?
No, sir.
No, what is that?
That's the irrigation ditch.
Is that the irrigation ditch?
That is
Okay.
correct.
So, it says this, they're going to abandon the current 30-foot access and go to 60.
Right, that's what it states on the plat. On this COS that was presented, it states the 30-foot wide private access easement is to be abandoned this survey and replaced with a 60-foot wide public access easement.
So is it just the wording, is it going to be the same access, or, hold on a minute, just expanding it to 60 feet?
Well, I'm uncertain about that because when I look at aerial photography, it looks as if the 30-foot access or the current access is in a different location. But according to this survey, it looks as if it's in the same. So I think that obviously would be a better question for the landowners.
Okay.
Because I can only look at aerial photos in this survey and they don't seem to overlay appropriately.
All right, good. We'll get a chance to answer that. All right. Do you guys have any other questions for Nicole?
I think most of my questions were for the landowners.
Okay.
I don't at this time. I also looked at the land aerial and I was confused by that,
Mhm.
so.
Okay. All right, good enough. Are you the representatives? Okay. If you'd like to come forward.
Can I answer some of her questions she brought up?
Yep, hold on just a minute.
Hold on just.
So our policy is that you have signed an affidavit, but we still place you under oath so that the testimony you give is truthful.
Okay.
Okay, so please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give regarding the Mostad family transfer exemption is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead and answer that question for us.
Which
On
question?
the access easement.
It is the same access, they're just expanding it to 60 feet.
Okay.
So
It-
we'll expand it further in towards, on the left-hand side, right? Left-hand
Okay.
side.
All right. Just curious why 60-foot easement instead of a 30?
A 60-foot easement instead of the 30.
Just, I guess for,
You need to come forward.
I'm sorry.
um,
Just so,
basically access
It's-
and more than one home back there, eventually.
Okay.
Mr. Schauber decided or suggested, maybe you wanna put this for the future, 60 foot,
each.
change it now
Sure.
while we're doing the survey, and I said, yeah, I don't have no problem, but actually, well, the width in the road and whatever, there's already a culvert in the ditch, all that's been done, the power's been brought in, dug in the ditch, all that approval has been approved
Okay.
through, Montana Ditch Company, John Hahn.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
may I ask them to say and spell their names?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, our clerk and quarter's not here this morning, so if you could say and spell your name for her, for the record, please.
both of you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
both, yeah.
Scott Mostad,
Okay,
Scottmostad.
okay, thank you.
Deneen, Denene, Mostad, Mostad.
Okay, thank you, sorry. I didn't say that at the beginning.
That's okay.
I should have done that. So, my mistake. Okay. And maybe go over a little bit of the history, how, I know that you guys gifted Scott this,
Josh.
or Josh,
That's
in
okay. We gifted my
2020?
son,
In
2020.
Yep,
20 acres. He looked around, tried to find some parcels, for a house to build. He couldn't do anything, couldn't find anything, so we gifted him the 20 acres. We helped him build the house.
okay,
It is because of the taxes. The taxes did hike up. He's a single guy with a teaching job. I mean, right now, he's, when this came in, you're gonna ask me, I know you were, when the app first came in, he was still teaching. Right now, he's got another meeting, and he's also training for a summer job for firefighting.
Yeah.
But that's why he's not here now.
okay,
Okay.
Sure.
So he really, basically, it's affordability and it's time. He doesn't have the time for the 20 acres.
Yeah,
All right.
full 20 acres.
They're full 20 acres
all right. So
Yeah, it
these
felt
ten-
like it was a little more to take on than
than what he
what
wants
he
to do.
wanted
Right.
to. So-
And he asked us if we wanted it back, and of course we do. We don't want somebody else to have it. We don't want
Sure.
it subdivided. We don't
Or
want anybody else
sold.
or sold,
No, it
anything like
stays
that.
in the
It stays in the
family.
family.
All right, good enough. And so did you understand in Nicole's report that by making these smaller parcels that you're probably subject to higher taxes now rather than?
But he isn't gonna for another 2 to 3 years, and hopefully he'll be able to afford it by then. He's moving up in his position as jobs and planning on getting something a little bit different. But in 2 to 3 years, yeah, he'll probably be able to afford it. He just can't right now.
So I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I was wondering, why not do a boundary relocation?
Why not do a boundary?
Instead of transferring back, why not just move the boundary?
We understood that's what we should do, is just do a family transfer. If you move a boundary location, what would that do? What would the difference
Yes, we're not familiar
with that?
It would keep your land, that tract C
Uh-huh.
would
Mhm.
stay with the bigger tract, right? Am I saying that right? It would stay with the bigger tract. So anyway.
We were told that that's what we should do as far as with the transfer. So that's why we went with that.
All right, good enough.
And we were okay with that.
Kay, did you have a comment?
Chairman Folkford, yes. Kaylin Minor, Deputy County Attorney. I have a few comments that I would like the commission to hear before the conclusion. I don't want to be disrespectful to our guests, and I don't want to interrupt their testimony. But I do have a few to Commissioner Rick Meyer's question about boundary relocation. I will just simply state now, because it's pertinent. The benefit of a boundary relocation is that it would simply remain in their family names, and you don't have to create a new tract. So that's another way of getting a subdivision exemption. There's not only one way to do this. A boundary relocation, because you do own the adjoining tract, you can just suck the other one in. So I think the advice you were given may not, it doesn't jive exactly with what you could do for options to make this a legally.
It would be a simpler, cleaner way of
Way of
doing
done
it.
it. Okay, well, we've already gone through it and paid the money and.
I think that was my question about the taxes too.
Sure.
Like, wouldn't
Yes.
that be absorbed,
Yeah.
preventing higher taxes? Because right now you're creating more. You're breaking up that 20-acre piece.
Right.
That would just be
We
absorbed.
understand that, but
Yeah.
we did not know about the other option.
So what,
Okay. Anything else, Kay?
Not at this time. I just want to
Yep.
just say a few things that are, that I need to bring out as legal pursuant to our subdivision like regulations, and a legal conclusion that was in the staff report, which I don't believe that, 100,000% respectfully, I don't think the staff report should have legal conclusions in it.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that's made clear.
Okay. Anything else, you guys?
Not right now. Thank you.
okay.
We did wanna, I did wanna answer some of her questions, so she had brought up a few different things.
Sure.
Regarding, you said you had some issues just regarding what would, with kids being there and some of those precautions that she had brought up?
Mr. Chair, all questions need to be directed
Y-
To
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chairman.
ask-
Okay, I'm sorry, first time to know. She had brought up some issues. I don't remember exact questions, so she would have to ask them, as she said something about children being out there. We don't have any children,
Okay.
not likely to have
Well,
any.
yeah, it's just a statement that the irrigation ditch could pose a danger.
Okay,
And-
okay, I was,
And, so,
okay, thank you.
yeah. Okay. Because we've kind of gone through similar circumstances in the past where properties have been gifted to family members and then gifted back. And it starts to fit a pattern of development. And, I don't know, I think we probably need to take a little bit more of a closer look at what's going on here.
Excuse me. What is it you need to look at?
You need to come to the microphone. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah,
Sorry. What is it that you're uncertain about, I guess? It's family. It was we gave it to my son gave it back to us. We want to keep it in our family. So is there something I can answer that's uncertain?
well, now, now we're talking about smaller tracts, right? That could be subdivided and sold,
It's not going to be subdivided and sold. It's in
No.
our family.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
transfers are permissible, correct? They're legal. We're not transferring anything out.
Okay. Anything else? Kay, you have anything else?
Chairman Folkvord, I do have a few just considerations for the commission regarding this
Okay.
particular exemption claim. I think that what I first previously alluded to, and I'm sure if I had had a chance to speak with our planning director previously, she would have clarified it for me. But I just want to make sure that we look at, it's on page 2 of the staff report, which was very well written. And I just want to make sure that the language that says that this particular family transfer is not a subdivision. I want to make sure, I believe her intent is to say they're asking for an exemption to subdivision, is what I believe. And I'm not trying to throw you on the spot, Director Brown, but I do think that it's important to make sure that we don't have a legal conclusion that states that it's not a subdivision. That's actually that is what the question that you are posed with today. And I apologize, it's actually at the top of page 3 under the conclusion. It's underneath all the highlighted or italicized language. And it says this family transfer request is not considered a subdivision. So that's just something that I wanted to make sure that we had some clarification. I think that what she's saying is it's a subdivision exemption claim.
Correct.
Not, they're not applying for a subdivision. But that's just a conclusion I just hope we could vet out in today's meeting. And then I'll move on if and when you all would like me to.
Okay, yeah, please.
And then I'm just looking at, of course, our regulations. Our regulations do have an exemption review criteria. And as the commission knows, it's their responsibility to observe or look for any patterns of exempt transactions that may result in the equivalent of a subdivision. And in addition to that, you know, where there's an exemption of land that would result in a pattern of a development equivalent to a subdivision, that's presumed for the purposes of our regulations to be evading of the Montana Subdivision and Platting Act. So keeping that in mind, that's what you all are charged with looking at. And then if you look at page 83 of our current subdivision regulations, there's a criteria for a review section, which the county is familiar with, our planning director is familiar with, and I'm hoping to increase consumer and community understanding of this as well, because you are charged with our regulations, commissioners and Chairman Fulford, with looking at these sort of criteria. One would be the very first one under C1i. You're supposed to look for. It's not a stop. It's not a stop, can't proceed, but it's a caution. Any proposed use of a family transfer exemption to divide a tract of record that was created through use of an exemption. Well, there's pretty clear testimony today that this tract was exactly created through a previous use of an exemption. That is exactly what our regulations call caution to. And so I just hope that that in conjunction with the smaller size, that you all take a very reasoned approach or get more information, whatever it is, Chairman Fulford, that you wish. I felt it would be remiss if I didn't bring out something that specifically said to look for this exact situation.
Okay. Nicole, so just as long as you're here, so tell me, what is our minimum width for easement of a subdivision road?
60 feet.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
may I address Kay's
You may.
comment also? I just want to say thank you for pointing that out. I absolutely was not trying to give legal advice on this conclusion, so thank you for pointing that. Yeah, I just want to be very clear. So if the commission deems it appropriate and Kay is agreeable, just to remove that last sentence under conclusion. So
Yep.
simply keep the MCA in there, but I certainly don't ever want to be considered to be giving legal advice. That
Right.
is definitely not in my purview. So
Okay. Anything else from the commission?
Not at this time, actually.
Okay. You want to move forward? Would you like to table this and have a chance to review it some more?
I would like to table this and put this on next week's agenda.
Okay,
I agree.
okay. All right, so we'll put this on next week's agenda.
Next week before you table?
You may.
And again, that would be on a Monday, 17th.
17th.
The Parks Commission schedule is funky.
Okay, go ahead.
I was waiting because I keep forgetting to come up here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what we can do or what we can say. I mean, it is just a transfer back and forth between us. The 60-foot was just to make it easier to, like, if we decide we're gonna do a modular on the other, if he does decide he's gonna do a modular on his 5-piece down the road, 3 or 4, it's just to make it wider, that's it.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else we can do. We're not subdividing it. I don't want my property going to somebody else. We don't want outsiders coming in. It's just that simple.
Okay,
If
very
there's
good.
something else we can say or do, please let me know.
All right, thank
Okay?
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And the 17th?
17th,
17th?
It's crazy.
Okay, next on our agenda, resolution for establishing fees for processing petitions to abandon a county road and petitions to discontinue a street or alley or unincorporated town or town site. Thanks for coming in. All righty. I think we've all had a chance to read this. Kay spent some time getting this in order for us. If I remember right, there was still some language that we hadn't decided on. Is that correct? Yes.
Chairman Fulford, Kaylin Minor, Deputy County Attorney. That was my understanding. I unfortunately wasn't present in person to take notes, but I had excellently prepared notes provided to me.
Okay.
And I used those to basically verbatim add in those suggested changes. I think that all of the changes that the commission wanted to see were included. However, you all may still pass this resolution if you choose to take action today
Okay.
and simply note any additional changes.
Okay.
And I can do those in real time if you wish, or I can provide them to you directly after your meeting, sir.
All right. Actually, I think let's go ahead and do them in real time if we could, please.
Oh, I will. I'll bring up that document right away. Okay, I'm prepared, sir.
Okay. It was mostly the last, was it the last
It's like the last
paragraph?
3 paragraphs, I think.
Yeah.
Chairman Fulford, were you provided with the newest version today, or is that?
And I'm here to say I was not,
Oh, let me get that for you then.
so.
Okay, I can get that. Or would you like for me to, I can post it up there if that would be
Yeah,
something
let's-
that maybe
let's
then
do
the
that.
public could see as well?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So Daylene, there is a cord you can just hand me and I'll. And then you all can see exactly this copy. I apologize for not printing that out. I was not early today. Okay, great. There too.
This goes in your
Oh, HDMI, okay, got it. And that goes in there.
Yep.
Are
Can you make
do you
it?
need help? Can you reach?
Bill, can you, thank you.
I get it.
Good job.
You did.
Do you want me to minimize?
Yeah.
I gotta
Perfect.
change
Yes,
it
I
over
think
to-
yep, once you change it over, whatever works best for you.
Let's see.
It should be on your, is that, you want to show your screen, right?
Sure.
You want to do F8?
I gotta figure out what. Or you can just take off the
Want to
agenda.
show duplicate.
Oh,
Change it to TV.
Should. Oh.
You want, yeah, you want to do this.
do that.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. It's coming in. She's doing.
And then
She's
that
controlling it.
You got it.
Needs to change to.
There you go. HDMI 2.
Yep.
Is that it?
Oh no, it says PC is 3. See?
Piece, that's what I was on.
Oh, okay.
Then you go to
hold on.
HDMI 2.
Let's see.
Yep, here
There
it
you
comes.
go.
Thanks, Bill.
Yep.
Okay, well, Chairman Folkford, while that's loading, I will just state to you, sir, that there is historically a very large cost borne by the county for petitions to close county roads and/or discontinue a street or an alley. And so the changes that I made to this document are, again, only in the resolution section of this resolution. All the background information has not changed, sir, which is accurate to what you have in front of you.
Bless you.
So I can actually, for the very first one, the new language that I've written states that instead of the county being the sole bearer of the costs for the surveying and or the investigation costs, sir, I've added language that says the petitioner may obtain bids and select a surveyor to assist with the investigation or the completion of surveys at petitioner's expense.
Okay.
Alternatively, the petitioner may choose to pay the cost of having the county select a surveyor and hire that surveyor. Surveyor reports shall be filed with the clerk and recorder as is the practice currently. So that's the first change. That language was not, as you can see before you, what we had in the first version. There was a second very significant change, and I'll read it to you. Be it hereby further resolved that the petitioner's surveyor will be present during the on-site investigation, which includes one member of the board and the public works supervisor or road foreman. Previously, there has been no obligation to have that person present. That, I believe, would allow us to have questions answered in real time versus this kind of back and forth. And then finally, this is actually no real change to the resolution that you have in front of you, Chairman Folkford, and that is that this language on the third one, the third, be it hereby further resolved, it states that in order to offset the costs borne by the board and facilitate the processing of petitions to abandon county road and petitions to discontinue a street or alley in an unincorporated town or town site, the Broadwater Board of County Commissioners hereby establishes a $500 fee to accompany the submission of any petition to abandon a county road or petition to discontinue a street or alley in an unincorporated town or town site, which shall be dedicated to the Public Works Department effective immediately. So that $500 fee would come in on the front before any investigation happens. Immediately upon filing of that petition, that fee is provided to the county. Okay. And I did insert Public Works Department. Of course, sir, it can go to anyone that you wish to designate. I thought that that's where we were going based on the notes that I read. And they're the ones who do maintain those roads, in some senses.
Yeah. And I guess I want to add in too that we had some great comments from Bernadette last week that kind of guided this document just a little bit. So
wonderful.
So thanks for that.
I mean, I think that, if I may, Mr. Chair, I think the having that fee up front to cover the cost of reviewing, even if the petition doesn't go all the way through, or they don't fully, they don't forget the number of signatures, or just to cover the time on that. I would even be okay. I mean, we said $500 fee for that. Since we're shifting the full weight of this to the applicant, I would even be okay with the $300 fee, honestly.
So my question is the Public Works Department the correct agency, or should it be our
Clerk and recorder?
Clerk and recorder or county surveyor?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
What do you think?
I think it should go to the clerk and recorder, since they have a lot of paperwork to do with those. They're the ones that check the petition, follow through, they have the checklist.
Yes.
And I only had a few minutes to look at this morning. I guess another one of my questions is at the end of page 1. I don't know if you can see it because it's not up there. Surveyor's report shall be filed with the clerk and recorder. I'd like to know how many days after they complete the report. A deadline of some sort. With copies of that report coming to the commissioners are the comments that I would add.
Well, I say you're in the past we've done the hiring of the surveyor. If they have the option to hire their own, is that kind of where your thought is?
Well, either way,
yeah.
If they hire their own or we hire for them,
right? We still need to have those.
We need to have the reports.
Right.
And, within 30 days of the report being, or whatever the time period, 15 days, 30 days, whatever, of the report being finished, completed. But I personally would like to table this till next week since we got it this morning.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on the website until like 8 o'clock
Yeah.
or something.
Got it.
Just more public input. Yeah,
Yeah.
as soon as we got it, it was on
Yeah.
the website. Because we did get really good public comment.
Mhm.
But the public has not had a chance, nor have I really had a chance to review
Mm.
this.
No, I like that.
Back
I
on
like
this.
the, making sure it comes to us.
I think
Yeah.
there's something we have to do.
Especially if, outside
Okay,
bids,
yeah,
people
that's
are
fine.
handling it
Probably
outside.
just not.
Yeah, I guess if I was gonna say, give a timeline, I'd like to say 15 days.
I think so.
Mm-hmm,
We don't wanna
mm-hmm.
just
Sit on it.
go any longer than.
Right.
Okay, good enough.
Those are my quick notes.
So back on for next week.
That would be my suggestion.
All right,
Sorry.
all right, you don't need to beat yourself up over there, Kay.
Chairman Fulford, thank you. The changes that you all have discussed, proposed changes, are already made.
Thank you.
So I will provide you guys hard copies that you all can continue your good edits, and we can continue to facilitate feedback from the community.
Right on.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
It's a setting on her laptop. So I was able to get it to work on mine.
Oh, that's okay.
It's the same thing I had, problem I had first time I used it.
I knew that was gonna. Nah, we're good.
No. I think it was a setting on her laptop that kept it from viewing up. Because I just put it in mine and it worked just fine. How's the workout? How's the workout? Let you know.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay. I guess that is it. Anything else come before the commission?
I don't have anything else.
No. All right, I don't have any email
We don't
or
have claims?
no claims, so
Well,
we're
Okay.
all
we're
right.
joined, or adjourned.
Joined. We are now joined.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for an absolute thrilling meeting.
You're welcome.
I personally prefer the ones that are like this.
Come back tomorrow night.
We all do.
As we
We
do.
all do.
Oh, tomorrow night? What's tomorrow night?
Solid waste.
Always.
No, it'll be fine.